Welcome everybody to Steve Beck's movie review. This is my first movie review, so hopefully this works out and we do this more. It has been a long week of watching Scream. This entire week I started off with Scream 1 and went all the way through all the Screams, getting prepared to watch Scream 6, which I just left the theater probably about an hour and 15 minutes ago. I don't even know where to begin. It's been quite a long week and I'm exhausted. I'm kind of tired of seeing people get stabbed. I am definitely tired of seeing the whole formula play out 6 different times. But I will say that I did enjoy Scream 6. Scream 6 kind of blew me away, especially from being able to go through Scream 1 all the way through to Scream 5, finishing up Scream 5 on Wednesday night, which Scream 5 is just called Scream, but I'll always call it Scream 5 because they just didn't want to label it for some reason. I thought Scream 6 was probably going to be disappointing and kind of was let down and was like out of energy. Totally was like, I don't think I'm going to, really do this. Do I want to do this? It definitely gets old very fast. So obviously I shouldn't have crammed it all in 1 week. Scream 1 is hands down so original, so good. But I got to tell you, after watching Scream 6, just leaving the theater, after thinking that watching all 5 of the movies right before was going to be a drag, and oh man, I hope it's going to live up to the hype. Do I have expectations? Do I not have expectations? Do I go in coming up with theories, which I did, kind of. And then once I was in the theater and once I was actually there ready to watch this film, I just was like, let's embrace it. Let's just take it for what it is at face value. Let's not have any expectations. Let's not think about where it could go and where it should go. Let's just let it be what it wants to be. And I will say that Scream 6 blew me away. Did not expect for it to do as well as it did. After watching Scream 5, I was really worried. After watching the trailer a couple of times, I was like, I think they're going for something different here. And I'm really excited to see it, and I'm so glad that I did see it because Scream 6 was just too good to be true, to be honest with you. Don't want to overhype it, but go see it. If you haven't gone and seen it, go see it. I won't be revealing any spoiler. Scream 5 left me with a taste in my mouth of, these are the new people that we're really going to build a franchise over. These are the new people who are going to be the faces that we get used to. From comparing Neve Campbell to this new girl, Sam, from Scream 5 at least, it really was, there's no comparison. I believe Jenna Ortega did a fantastic job with her character, even though in Scream 5 she did not have a ton of scenes. When I'm comparing, and I shouldn't, Melissa Barrera and Neve Campbell, Sam and Sydney, Samantha and Sydney, I just can't. Like, honestly, Sam fell so flat for me in Scream 5 that's why I was a little worried for Scream 6. Scream 5, the character development for Sam, just I wasn't buying it. In Scream 5, the only person who really captured me like that was Jenna Ortega, which is Tara, and all the original cast. I also don't want to spoil Scream 5. Scream 5 came out in 2022. You may not have seen Scream 5 yet, so I don't want to ruin that for you if you haven't. But I will just say, in order to see Scream 6, you will need to see Scream 5. You don't have to, but it will make you at least a little bit more into the characters and the character work, even though there's very little character work. Scream 6, they did a fantastic job on, and I'm very impressed. I would definitely have to rank that very high on the franchise list. I will be doing a video where I go through my rankings from 1 to 6 and what's the top and what's the bottom and all that. For now, I just want to say that I really enjoyed what they did with Scream 6. We had a killer that was ruthless. We had a killer who didn't worry about killing in public. He didn't worry if it was broad daylight or in your house or next to your next door neighbor who sees you. There's so many things that are going on in this film where you're just like, oh, there's no way that he can come out right now because, they're in a subway or they're walking down the street or they just left, a big party and there's people outside. I guess because of the scenes being in New York now, because that's where our cast is thrown in, then there's always something going on in New York, and they didn't hide that in this movie, and I really appreciated that. The other thing that I really appreciated about Scream 6 was that opening scene killed it. There are so many times that I feel like the Scream franchise just really, really sucked at capturing that beginning scene that really like grasps you and like takes you in and just like goes, you want to stay here for the rest of this movie because this opening scene was so amazing that you want to see what's going on next. Scream 2 fell flat for me. I gotta be honest. Scream 2's opening scene is probably my least favorite, one of my least favorite ones. Scream 3 was a little bit more, oh cool, what are they doing here? Scream 4 took it to a whole new level, and I really didn't like what they did with Scream 4's opening scene. It did a great job at tricking you and making you think, oh my god, what's going on here? Being a film about meta, Scream 4 calls itself out, a movie within a movie within a movie. I did like what they did in Scream 4 better than the second and third, but nothing can top the opening scene in Scream 1. From start to finish, that opening scene in Scream 1 captures you. And we've been missing that for the longest time because they failed in Scream 2, in my opinion. They failed in 3, 4, and 5. 5 had its own thing. There was some good in 5. And just to break it down, they played with the technology of the new day and age of, being able to lock and unlock your doors with your smartphone. I thought it was really cool. It made me never want to get a device like that, just because if somebody has the potential of hacking that device and unlocking it is really freaking scary in itself. I really wish they played with that more throughout Scream 5, but they didn't. But the point of bringing up all the opening scenes is because the opening scene in Scream 6 was just beautiful. It was so original in its own way. It surprises the heck out of you because you're like, what is going on here? Why would they I can't say too much without spoiling anything, and I don't want to be a spoiler guy. But they do something so bizarre that you're like, this can't be happening. There's no way. There's no way that this is true. And where they go with it is just so spectacular that I would go see the movie again just to see that beginning scene again. It everything is gorier. Everything is like the stabbing scenes, because that's what this whole thing is about, are so brutal. And I don't enjoy that. Again, after going through a week of seeing this, that's like the last thing I want to see is just like more brutal stabbings, because it gets too much after a while. And yeah, if someone said, Steve, why did you watch Scream 1 and Scream 2 on Monday and Scream 3 and Scream 4 on Tuesday, I don't know, I had nothing else to do. I was sitting at work and was just like trying to get ready for this Scream 6, because I have seen all of them except for Scream 5 at least once. I wasn't disappointed in the film at all. There are so many good scenes that just like, what is it with the pacing of these Scream movies that they're 2 hours long, but they feel like an hour? I mean, the pacing is just so perfect. There's never a dull moment. There's never a moment where you're like, all right, what are we doing here? There's never a Dark Knight Rises scene where he's stuck in the cave for 3 hours, it feels like, to where you're like, good God, can we just get out of this cave so that way he can be Batman again? Like, there's none of that. The pacing is so perfect. From start to finish, you're either wondering who is it, who's still around, who's not around, and who could possibly be the killer. The whodunit of Screams have always been really good. There's a couple that are a little dry, but for the most part, they keep you guessing the entire time. Scream 6 does a fantastic job at making you scared that, he could be out there at any second, any moment. He can be anywhere, and it's just the way they reveal who it is at the end, or what it is, because I don't want to give up too much. It's just so freaking good, man. You have to see it. Scream 6, hands down, one of the better of the franchise, and I did not expect going in there to say that. But Scream 6 does a great job at letting references be references, and originality really plays out, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. And there was still funny scenes. There were still scenes that made it lighthearted, made you laugh. I do think that what Scream 5 and Scream 6 do that is really off and just come on, for real, is the ties with all the, former characters. Samantha is the daughter of Billy Loomis. Chad and Mandy are the nephew and niece of Randy, who is Jamie Kennedy's character. It's just too much tie-in. It's a small town. I give Scream 6 I'd say a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. It was really fantastic. I had fun the entire way through. Fun is a weird word to say whenever you're talking about somebody getting slashed up. Thank you so much for tuning in. And next time we will be reviewing Scream 1.